So dear students, in lecture number 6, we have gone through in the understanding of what is a network. That means what is network in case of a planning of a project, whether it is a construction project or any other type of project. That means how to develop a network, what are the various type of nodes as well as activity. So today in this lecture number 7, we will be try to understand what is a CPM network, that is critical path method, and what are the various times which are related to the activity, so that we are able to understand what will be the starting time of an activity or completion time of an activity. That means they are known as the event times. And from this network, when we able to understand earliest event time and latest event time, then we can easily evaluate what will be the project duration. So first of all, critical path method, that is one of the method of developing a network, planning network for a construction site or for any other type of project. Now critical path method, and this method is basically a project scheduling method where we can develop a network which is made up of events and activities. That means which is connecting events and activities. And this method was developed in 1950s by Morgan Walker and Kelly. So CPM network are in general activity oriented. Earlier we have gone through the meaning of activity. That means activity may be a part of a project or part of a job, because to solve or to plan any project, first of all we have to divide it into number of smaller activities, and then later on we can develop a network. So CPM network is activity oriented network, and activities are jobs or operations in a project. Important thing is activity take time to carry out and require some sources. Now activity in the network are shown by arrows which are labeled with some description of the activity, as well as the time duration of the activity is also mentioned on the arrow. Whenever we draw an arrow, then above the arrow we will be showing the activity, that means name of the activity, and below the arrow we will be writing what will be the duration of the activity. That means what is the actual duration of the activity, or how much time is required to complete that activity. And the junction between the activities are termed as events. That means if there are two events, then two events will be connected by one arrow, and that arrow is activity, and the connecting circles, generally in the form of circles, we will be showing the events. Now sequence in which activities are performed is shown by the sequence of the arrows. Now in CPM network planning, first of all what we will do, we will be using the work breakdown structure. That means a project will be divided into various activities, and a tentative list of activities required to be performed to complete or accomplish the project objective is prepared. Now these activities are interconnected to show how they must be performed with respect to one another. That means how or when which activity need to be performed, that will be mentioned, and from the interconnection between the activities we can do. The placement of activity in the network are based on their occurrence. As earlier I told, that means how to place the activity depending upon the occurrence, that means which activity will be occurring first or which activity will be occurring later on. So they will be connected accordingly. Now critical path method, let us try to understand it. In critical path method, first of all we will be developing a network that is connecting between the activities and events. Now then activity times we have to estimate. That means how much time an activity will take. And to estimate the time required to complete each activity in a network, two types of approaches are in general used. One is probabilistic approach, that is based on the probability, and other one is deterministic approach. In the probability based approach is generally used in case of PERT methodology, and here in CPM we will be using the deterministic approach. That means first of all we have to determine how much time or what will be the duration of an activity to complete. So in CPM networking method, deterministic approach is used to get the time of completion of an activity, and after the determination of the time duration, which will be indicated by small t for an activity, the time of occurrence of an event at the head of activity is determined. Now very important time estimation is, first of all, it is earliest time for which an event has to start, and similarly the earliest time when an event has to complete. So that when occurrence of the event, we will be designating it. First one is earliest event time, that is written as TE. So earliest event time is basically, we can understand that it is the earliest possible time of occurrence of that event. So earliest time at which an event can occur when all the activities discharging into the event under consideration are completed. So you are aware that an event can be said to, can we say that it has been occurred when all the activities discharging into it have been completed. Otherwise, that event has not been occurred. It can be easily calculated. That means earliest event time can be easily calculated by adding up the duration of activities leading up to that event. And this is given by formula TE. TE for earliest event time, J is for the number of the event, and TE again it is the earliest event time of the previous event I, and Tij is the duration of the completion of that activity. So let us again just note down TEI, the earliest occurrence time for the tail event of an activity. TEJ is the earliest occurrence time for the head event, and IJ will be the activity under consideration, just like activity 1, 2, activity 2, 3, like that. And Tij is the time of completion of activity Ij, which is under consideration. Now if we see here, just for an example, there are two events, event number 1 and event number 2, and they are connected by activity A. Now this arrow is showing activity A having time duration. Let us suppose it is 5 days. So for this activity, event number 1 will be called as tail event and event number 2 will be called as head event. So if this event 1 is the very first event, that means start of an activity, then we can consider that earliest occurrence time TE of this event can be 0, because it is the starting activity, very first activity, and then 0 plus 5, that is earliest event time of event number 2 will be 5. So it is very much clear. That means if event number 1 is the starting event and event number 2 which is connected to event number 1 by activity, which has to take 5 days for its completion, then earliest event time of activity event number 2 will be 5. So Tij here we will write it as 5 days. Activity Ij mean it is activity number 1, 2, where I is 1 and j is 2. So here if we want to calculate T2e, T2e mean earliest event time of event number 2, that will be equal to sum of the earliest event time of event number 1 plus duration of that activity which is connecting event number 1 and event number 2, and in our case it is 0 plus 5. So this 5 will be the earliest event time, or you can say earliest time of occurrence of event 2 will be 5 days. Now let us try to calculate as a numerical. That means if you are given a network and you are told to calculate the earliest event time for each event. Now this network is shown. What is this network? This network is having various type of activity: activity A, activity B, activity C, D, E, F, G, I, J, K. That means all these from A to K we have named the activities. So event number 1 will be the starting event, because as per Fulkerson rule, event number 1 will be the starting event and it will be given number 1 because all the arrows are emerging out of this event number 1. No arrow is coming into this event number 1, so it is the starting event. Now here if you see here, that is event number 1 and event number 2 are connected by an arrow, that is activity A, and duration of this activity is 10. Similarly, activity which is connecting 1 and 3 events, that is activity B, having duration 12. And similarly, all the other activities are connected by various events. And if you see here, event number 8, in event number 8 only incoming arrow is there, no outgoing arrow is, you will be see no outgoing arrow is from event number 8. So event number 8 will be the end event of this project. Now what we have to do, we have to calculate earliest event time, that is TE, for each event. So let us understand step by step. In this table, first one is the event number, that means event number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. First of all, we have to number all the events. Then in second column, predecessor event. And third is what is the path which we are considering. And then time of completion of the activities. That means how much time it will take to complete, that is already mentioned on the arrow, that is base of the arrow. So this TEJ, this formula we can use to calculate earliest event time of activity J, which is equal to sum of earliest event time of event I, which is the earlier event of event J or preceding event J, and plus Tij. Here Ij will be the subscript, that is Tij is the time or duration of the activity, and ultimately in the last column we will be able to calculate what is the earliest event time for each event. Now let us consider event number 1 first of all. For event number 1, because it is the starting event, there is no predecessor event and no path is mentioned. So earliest event time of this first one will be 0 because it is the starting event. Now if you see the event number 2, here we are able to see event number 2. Now this is event number 2, and if you see predecessor event of event number 2 is event number 1. There is no other activity which is entering into event number 2. So event number 2 is having only one predecessor event. So that is the predecessor event is 1. Now, and they are connected with only one activity, and that activity is 1, 2. So here J will be the event number 2 and I will be the event number 1. So when you have to calculate TEJ, then we are adding here, that is TEI. TEI is 0, that is earliest event time of event number 1, and plus duration of the activity 1, 2, that is 10. So total will be 10. So we can say here T2E, that means earliest event time of event number 2 is 10. Now if we see event number 3, it again has only one predecessor event, event number 1, and activity will be 1, 3, so path will be 1, 3. Again, if you add, this is the 12th unit will be the duration of the activity 1, 3. So 0 plus 12, that is equal to 12. So what is this 12? It is earliest event time of event number 3. So it is 12. Now let us switch over to event number 4. Now event number 4 has again only one predecessor event, that is event number 3. Path will be 3, 4. Tij will be 6. So first of all we have to take the value of TE3, that means earliest event time of event number 3. So that we have taken from row number 3. So it is 12 plus duration 6, it is 18. So 18 will be the earliest event time of event number 4. Now if you see here event number 5. Now event number 5 has two predecessor events, event number 4, event number 2. Predecessor mean immediate predecessor. So event number 2 and event number 4. So we have written here event number 2 and event number 4. So if you see the activity which is connecting 5 and 2, so that will be path 2, 5 or activity 2, 5. Now to calculate the earliest event time of event number 5, first of all you must be having the value of event number, earliest event time of event number 2. So event number 2 have already been calculated. So 10 plus 8 is 18. And similarly for 4, 5, now what was the earliest event time of 4? That is 18. So 18 plus 8, that is 26. Now what we have to take, here are more than one pass and more than one event time, earliest event time. So we will be taking the maximum value out of these. So from maximum value from out of 18 and 26, it is 26. So it is the earliest event time of event number 5. Now after this, the network is more complicated. If you see event number 6, so it has immediate predecessor event number 3 and event number 5. So we have written here 3, 5. So path will be 3, 6 as well as 5, 6. And as we have done the calculation in the previous step, similarly, for a 5, 6 path, earliest event time will be 34 and here it is 17. So we will be taking the value, highest value 34. So 34 is the earliest event time of event number 6. Now remaining is event number 7 and event number 8. For 7, there are immediate predecessor 2, 5 and 6. So path will be 2, 7, 5, 7 and 6, 7. And accordingly we have calculated 22, 36 and 40. So maximum value is 40. So earliest event time of event number 7 will be 40. Now last or end event, that is event number 8. Now event number 8 will be having only one predecessor event, event number 7, only one activity, 7, 8, and then we have already calculated T7, that is 40, and 40 plus 12, that is 52. 12 is the activity time of activity number 7, 8. So if you see here, event number 1, that means occurrence of event number 1 is the starting event, that is 0, and last event where the project will be closing, and that is event number 8. Event number 8 is the completion of the project. So completion of project takes 52. So if it is in days, then it will be 52 days, or accordingly whatever will be the unit. So from this network and with the help of earliest event time, we are able to calculate that earliest time of occurrence of event number 8. That means earliest possible time of completion of the project will be 52. So for this particular network, the completion time of the project is 52 units. It may be 52 days or 52 weeks, whatever we have chosen. Now next one is latest allowable occurrence time. That means what is the latest possible time which is allowed so that the project should not be disturbed. So it is the latest allowable occurrence time, TL. So what we have written, the latest allowable occurrence time or latest event time. In simple, we will write it as latest event time is the latest time. That means you can't delay the occurrence of that event beyond this time, by which an event must occur to keep the project on schedule. So if the schedule completion time is not given, so then we can take the schedule completion time of the project will be the earliest event time of the last event. So given that the latest event time of the end event will be equal to TS. Now if the scheduled completion time, as I already told, is not specified, then TL. What is TL? TL is the latest allowable occurrence time will be taken as equal to the earliest event time of the last event. Now how to calculate the latest event time? Latest event time can be calculated by starting from the tail event and using the backward pass. So later on we will be able to understand, and formula will little bit change. Here we replace j by I and here we replace I by j, and if you see here in the earliest event time there was plus sign, that means we were adding the duration of the activity. Here we will be decreasing the time duration of the activity. So TLI, latest event time for the tail event. TLJ is the latest event time of head event. IJ is the activity under consideration. Tij, time of completion of the activity. Now let us calculate the latest event time for each event. In earlier problem, we have calculated the project duration TE was 52. So we are taking the same network into consideration, and in the absence of the latest time given or completion time given, what we are taking, the latest event time of the last event is equal to earliest event time of the last event. So that is 52. So this table we have just one portion of the table we have picked from the previous problem, because we are going to solve the same network. Now same network we have drawn, and we have already calculated earliest event time for each event. Now we have to now calculate latest event time for all the events. So now first of all, as if you see the activity number 1 and 2, earliest possible occurrence of event number 1 is 0, and earliest possible occurrence of event number 2 is 10. That means you can't complete this event, or occurrence of this event 2 can't be before 10 days. So this is the earliest possible time. Now we will be able to solve, that means what will be the latest possible time of occurrence of event number 2. And suppose, for example, if the latest event time of event number 2 is 14, so that means earliest possible is 10 and the latest is 14. So we will be having 4 days of the time which is available to complete the activity. That means minimum time required is 10 days and maximum time required is 14 days, and within 14 days we have the 4 extra days. So that means we are having the flexibility of this time, but that you have to keep in mind that what will be the latest event time of event number 2, and we are considering it as 14. So you can't go beyond 14 days, otherwise your whole network will disturb and your planning will be failed. Now we will be taking backward pass. In the earliest event time, we have started from one event, starting event. Here we will start from event number 8 and we will be going backward direction. Now what is the earliest event time of 50? Event number 8 is 52. So that will be the latest event time of event number 8. So that means total duration of the project is, minimum duration is 52, and let us take the maximum duration is also 52. So this event number 8, you don't have any flexibility. Now if we go back to event number 7, so we have to calculate what is the latest possible occurrence time of event number 7. Earliest possible time was 7 was 40. Now let us see what is the latest possible time of event number 7. So that will be given by this 52 minus 12. So that is 40. Now that means it is very much clear for activity number 7 to 8, 7-8 activity, your earliest time as well as latest time for event number 7 as well as number 8, they are similar. So that means you can't go beyond 40 days. That means you can't start event number 7 after 40, otherwise your project duration will disturb. So we have calculated the latest event time for event number 7. Now we will be going to event number 6. Now event number 6, again 40 minus 6, 34. So this is also same as 7 and 8. It is the restricted time. That means earliest as well as latest time for the occurrence of event number 6 is 34. So now if you go for this event number 5, so event number 5 is linked to event number 7 as well as 6. So if you go through the path 7, 5, then the latest occurrence time of even number 5 will be 40 minus 10, that is 30. But if you see this path, then it will be 34 minus 8, and that will be 26. So for event number 5, we have two latest times, 30 and 60, and the project should not disturb, so we will be take the least value. So 26 will be considered as the latest occurrence time of event number 5. Earliest is 26th and latest is also 26. So you can't disturb, or you don't have any relaxation for event number 5 also. Now let us go to event number 4. Event number 4 has only one path, that is 5. That means event number 4 is only connected to event number 5 in backward direction. So 26 minus 8, 18, 18. So earliest event time of event number 4 as well as latest event time of event number 4 is same, 18. So that means this activity you can't disturb. So there is no relaxation in the occurrence time of event number 4. Now if we go to event number 3. So again here event number 3 can be reached by backward direction from event number 4 as well as event number 6. So they have two paths. So if you go from event number 6 in the backward direction, then 34 minus 5, it is 29. But if you go from 4 to 3, then it will be 18 minus 6, 12. So we will be taking the least value, that is 12. So earliest possible occurrence time of event number 3 is 12 days, as well as latest occurrence possible time is again 12. Now we have to reach the event number 2. Now event number 2 is connected by event number 5 as well as 7. If you go backward direction from this, then it will be 40 minus 12, that is 28. And if you go this path, 26 minus 8, then it will be 18. So we will be picking the time, latest occurrence time or latest event time of event number 2 is 18. Earliest is 10. So that means the occurrence of event number 2, you have relaxation time of 8 days. That means if your event number 2 occur at 18 days, then your whole project will not disturb. Now last one is event number 1. So event number 1, if you go through this path, then it will be 18 minus 10, it is 8, and from this it is 12, so it is 0. So this event you can't delay. Thank you.